I'm daily boosting online. Every time I snap a pic, the comments explode. Sending ad reply, I'm taking pictures on my phone. When I check the live feed, everybody knows. Now everybody wants to take some pictures, 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 pictures. Daily booth all the
Just text that I
time.
will take will fill your feed. Pick a time, anytime, snapping pics is where I'll be. I need a picture thread, like this one with iJustine. We can post a pic and then the party will begin. I'll have you picture snapping, have your camera flashing. Miss Kutcher, Dave Days, taking pics of what is happening. Even Custom G had to go and get some lessons in. Will of DC says what's up, daily boothing. So come on, and let's find the coolest threads to share our life in pictures with strangers and our friends. We can watch the live feed and never skip a pic. So call me Mrs. Daily Booth, I'll be your picture chick.
I'm daily boosting online. Every time I snap a pic, the comments explode. Sending ad reply, I'm taking pictures on my phone. When I check the live feed, everybody knows. Now everybody wants to take some pictures, 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 pictures. Daily booth all the
Take a
time.
journey to my profile, you'll see what I'm doing all the time. I hit the iPhone app if I'm not able to be online. I snap a pic and submit, then fill out the blurb. Oh, don't forget to Facebook connect into Twitter. You can see me eating or hanging with Mitchell Davis. I pose with Shane Dawson just to leave you picture comments. I booth with Ashton Kutcher showing off our brand new shirts. Beware when we're logged on, your dashboard will go berserk. I snap all the pics with my friend, hi I'm Ron. It's a catwalk show